Hey, a folk studio here. So there is no daily today, sadly. There is no gameplay that I can just put a button over here and say skip. Skip to the gameplay. And that is because I didn't have anything prepared. This has been a very, very different week for me. I'll get into that later, but I figured, you know what? I should still post some content, and I'll just give you guys a breakdown about how I came to this position and why I'm doing it, and maybe a little bit about the future. A little bit, tiny bit. So, December 2011, I was a student at UC Berkeley studying mathematics. Now, mathematics is a fun major, and this mathematics has let me notice that I pay a lot in tuition and a lot in housing costs. I was paying, I think, $11,000 in tuition, plus a bunch of fees for books and just random fees. And I was also paying about $600 a month in housing for a room share. It was actually a really nice room, and the house was really cheap because it was very old, but housing in Berkeley is super expensive. But that's besides the point. The point is, come December 2011, my financial aid gets cut. I drove, 400 miles from Southern California to NorCal, packed up all my stuff, and moved back home in a day. It was pretty horrible. I do not like driving that much, that far, especially when in between driving, I'm picking stuff up and very, very sadly going, damn, I'm not going to school here next semester. But with that, I had to take some time off. I might get my financial aid back in January, might not. It should work, but we'll see what happens. So, I'm in SoCal. I have no money, I have no job, I have no school to attend. What do? At first, I'm like, I'm going to find a job. I applied a bunch of places. I actually applied to Riot as a QA guy. I don't know, playtester. And they never really got back to me. Like, they said that there were too many people for the role and that they had to cut some people, but I don't really know what happened with that. I think my interview didn't go that well, so oops. And when I tried to get feedback, it turns out the guy who interviewed me was really sick. So, oops. Bad timings. And I applied to a bunch of other places too. I applied to Pizza Hut, a Subway, a bank. I actually almost got the bank job, and that would have been kind of nice, but I wouldn't be doing this if I got the bank job. But I would be making a lot of money, so I'll stick with what I got and appreciate it. But I was, frustrated. Getting a job, or trying to get a job and not getting one really sucks emotionally. Because it's just like, man, I can do these things. I can be awesome. I can be out there making those sandwiches. And it's like, no, they won't pay me to do it because they have people who will already do it. Plus, when you're a college student who's saying, I don't have my degree yet, and I might be going back to college in January, so I can't make a long-term commitment, then, yeah, people are less likely to look at me positively. But I post on somethingawful.com, and at some point I made a comment about there not being a Day 9 equivalent in League of Legends, because I like Day 9, he's got really good stuff. And what happened as a result was someone said, well, you're 2000 ELO, do it yourself. And I thought, hey, why not? And I immediately thought, why not? I gave myself a few good reasons, but it came down to, well, if I don't do this, what the hell am I doing? Nothing. If I do this, what the hell am I doing? Something. Nothing or something. And I'm not the type of person who likes to sit around doing nothing. It's so boring. It's like, I can play League of Legends all day, every day without a goal. No thanks. If I was on a team, that'd be cool, but I cannot do something like play video games for 12 hours a day without there being a purpose. It just hits me too hard. So I started making dailies, and it was long, it was hard, it was tough. I am a socially awkward nerd. Like, I can talk to people, I've got friends, I'm not someone who just sits in my room all day alone crying. But at the same time, I was never much of a public speaker, so this has been kinda weird for me. But I liked it, I kept going with it, and here I am right now, which brings me to this week. Now, normally when I record, there's a bunch of problems. For example, sound in the background. I do not want a lot of audio in the background. but I live with a 4-year-old. Now, I don't know if you've ever lived with a 4-year-old yourself, but if they're not sleeping, they're making noise. I love my sister. She's awesome, but she's not very quiet, and I'm not going to be the type of person to go, hey, yo, sis, you need to be quiet so I can make some videos for the internet. Nah, she would not care, and she wouldn't do it. Actually, I showed her the video where she showed up in the middle of the night, half awake, and she just didn't care about it at all, which I found really funny. Anyhow, so there's stuff like that. I don't have a lot of space myself. I just cannot get good recording times. The internet here is awful. I sometimes upload with my cell phone just because it takes so long to get a video up onto the YouTube. But this past week, my mom and my sister have gone to Mexico. My cousin is having a wedding, and my mom, got a lot of family down there. They're gonna, visit them and have a good time. And that's just left me with me and my dad. And all of a sudden, I had no recording time, and now I've got pretty much all day. So I said, you know what, let's try and do some extra stuff. That's why Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, I had extra content. Sunday, I made a video, and then last week was kind of choppy because I was super busy doing some last-minute family stuff and all that jazz. And this week, I've actually been babysitting, too. So I've been recording, but since I have more time to record, that still lets me do things like take care of a 2-year-old from 10 to 4. He sleeps, so that's where I record gameplay and stuff like that. But I've come to the conclusion that I really like what I'm doing. Even if I've spent 6 or 7 hours taking care of a 2-year-old, running around the park, you'll notice my face is much, much redder than it normally is. That's because I actually got sunburnt. I'm a pasty nerd, and me getting sunburn is the weirdest thing. But even though I was out long enough to get this sunburn, I'm still willing to record. I really enjoy this, and I want to keep doing this. So this isn't going to end. I have fun doing this, even with lots of technical issues, ranging from my crappy internet to replays randomly not working, or my favorite, halfway through a recording, I'll just get this massive FPS drop that might last 20 seconds. Even with all these issues, I really like it. It's really fun. So I'm going to keep doing this in the future, and I hope you kind of enjoyed my ranting. Figure I'd give you a bit of background history, because the way the game or dailies are set up right now, getting that history is kind of tricky, because I can't cut to my face halfway through and be like, here's my rant. I would like to say that there are so many times that I've been watching a game, commenting, and go, man, I really, really want to do a Macaulay Culkin style hands-on face shock look, because it would fit situation so perfectly. But alas, I cannot. In the future, I might. There might be some big news coming in the next few days, in the next week. There might not. Gotta get all the kinks worked out. This is me working out the kinks, I guess. I don't know. Not too sure about that hand motion. But this is Studio saying adios. I hope you enjoyed this video. And yeah, see you soon.